Hi, good morning. Actually, it's not really morning anymore, is it? It's afternoon. I was actually in the car driving this morning out of town to Dawson Creek, and I thought, while I'm in the car, I'll make a little voice memo about a topic that I saw on Facebook this morning. My dear friend Lana actually posted it, and it was a little something she called, or I don't know where she got it from, but Motivational Monday. So it gave me the idea that today I would talk a little bit about what motivates me, what gets me going. So obviously, if you've been by my blog, you probably already know this about me, or if you're one of my close friends or family, you know that I am obsessed with health and fitness. I eat, sleep, breathe health and fitness. I'm reading articles, I'm following blogs, I'm reading books, I'm listening to podcasts when I wake up. I'm completely immersed in the whole scope of health and fitness. I am so passionate about it. So obviously, ideally, since I'm so passionate about it, I want to make it a career. So that's really motivating to me. I'm going to school to be a personal trainer. It's taking a lot more than I thought it would when it was just a dream. It is really, really awesome though, and I'm really excited for what that holds in the future. So aside from making health and fitness a career, I feel really, really motivated to just inspire people. Like, I know what it feels like to feel just not good and not my A game. Like, I just know how much it sucks to just not feel healthy and to not feel good. I don't know if you've been by my blog or if you know this about me, but a couple of years ago I was diagnosed. I don't even know if diagnosed is the right word for it because I don't feel like it's a true diagnosis. I just feel like it's something doctors will say you have, and it just means that there's something wrong with your digestion, but based on the tests they've ran, they can't find what specifically. So I was diagnosed with what I like to call IBS BS diagnosis. BS being because that's how I feel it was, literally, BS. But anyway, so a couple years ago I just was really not feeling good in general. I just felt really, really sick. Like, it was hard for me to even just leave the house. So that was kind of the crossroads that led me to my journey on health and fitness. I at first just wanted to improve my diet to feel a little bit better. So because I know what it's like to just feel really, really not good and just tired and not on your A game, I just want to motivate as many people around me, my friends, my family, the people that I meet, and maybe even some people that I don't know, to feel better, because I just know how hard it is and it sucks, and I just want to help people not to feel so shitty all the time. So that's a huge motivator for me. I just want people to feel good. So aside from that, I wanted to talk a little bit about people who inspire me. Obviously, there's people in my day-to-day life who touch me every day that I love, my friends, my family. I have tons of people like that in my life who are really inspiring to me. But I also wanted to just mention a couple other like big influential names that I'm really inspired by. First of all, I wanted to mention Dave Asprey because I really, really love his work. I follow his blog. I listen to his podcasts. I just am really, really interested in what he's into. Dave Asprey is the CEO and founder of bulletproofexecutive.com. If you've been by my blog, skinnypantsfitness.blogspot.ca, you probably already heard me writing about him and Bulletproof and all that sort of thing. I'm just really, really into it. So anyways, Dave Asprey, he does a lot of work in biohacking, and biohacking is just sort of like he self-experiments and researches on himself what is the best method of all sorts of things. He's into like everything, but a lot to do with like diet and wellness, and his wife wrote the Better Baby book with him, so they're pretty huge in the health and fitness industry. So he is a huge inspiration to me. I love his products, the coffee, the coconut charcoal, just all of his work. His diet, it's a lot. The Bulletproof diet is basically like Bulletproof recharged. It's backed by like scientific research, and he's the founder of it all, and I'm just so into it. And yeah, so Dave Asprey, check him out on Facebook. Go to my blog. I'll be talking a lot about him. So there's Dave Asprey, and then there's JJ Virgin, and I actually have to thank my dad for introducing me to JJ Virgin's book, because he was really adamant that I read it, which I actually didn't read the whole thing cover to cover because I'm going to school and I just don't have a whole lot of time to read a lot of literature. Outside of my schooling anyways, I read the key points, I skimmed through it, I read the chapters that really spoke to me, but I have been following her via her website and via her Facebook, and listening to her on radio shows, all sorts of places. And the thing about her work that I think is really important, that's worth looking into, is she's doing a lot of research on post-surgery recovery. So she's basically researching and getting the word out that there is a better way to recover after surgery, using fish oils, i.e. omega-3s. So I think that that's really, really important research. I think that that is very inspirational. I know that hopefully, knock on wood, I won't need surgery in the near future, but if I do, I know that I will be researching her immensely and her work, because I think it's so, so important. And I know how much it sucks when you have surgery. I've had a few, to be in bed and out of the game, and if there's something that you can do to get you back in the game quicker and more efficiently and feeling good faster, then I think that that's awesome. So JJ Virgin, check out her book, The Virgin Diet, and stop by her Facebook. I think she's a really, really inspirational person. And lastly, actually, maybe I shouldn't say lastly yet, because I might think of a few others, but a huge inspiration for me, I don't know if you've heard of her, but her name is Kirsten Suzanne, and she is actually, or was actually, I should say, a raw vegan chef, and she was one of my very first influences and people that I followed when I first began my journey into health. And if you've been by my blog, you probably already know this about me, or if you know me, then you know this, but if you don't, then I'll tell you about it. I spent 3 years as a vegetarian. I only recently reintroduced meat into my life, but I wasn't feeling good. As you know, I had IBS, whatever. I was tired, having digestive problems, just really, really struggling in life. It was hard for me to get out of bed. I was depressed, and I watched the documentary Earthlings. It's a really great documentary, not for the squeamish at heart, but anyways, I watched the documentary and I just basically made the overnight decision to become a vegetarian, both for the ethics and welfare of animals, because that's something that's still really important to me, but also because I thought that maybe it could be the answer to my health problems. So at first when I became a vegetarian, I felt a lot better. I was eating a diet really suddenly enriched with green smoothies and raw whole organic vegetables and organic nuts and seeds, and I was still eating bread then, but I was making like my own homemade whole grain bread. And so I think just at first I was feeling a lot better because it was such a drastic change and improvement in my diet. I was somebody who before had the basics down. I'd done South Beach. I had the gist of what's healthy, what's not, but I also didn't really fully get it. Like, I probably wouldn't eat a burger from McDonald's, but I would go to McDonald's and eat a salad, or I didn't like eating dairy, but I ate a lot of processed soy milk and stuff that I don't do now. So when I became a vegetarian and I did more research and came along my way, I obviously learned a lot and felt a lot better. But then the longer that I was a vegetarian, the more that I started to go downhill again. After maybe a year and a half, 2 years into it, started developing some other problems. First of all, the first thing that I started noticing is I was really dizzy. I was losing my balance, actually, like going like, whoa, like almost falling over. So I went to my doctor and had some tests, and I was anemic. So even though I was eating a lot of plant-based iron and protein from hemp and I was eating a lot of Vega shakes actually, but my body wasn't absorbing them. So my hair was falling out, my skin was flaky and dry, I looked just really pale and really sick, and I just didn't feel good. I was struggling with energy, and because I was struggling with energy, I was struggling with time management, and because I was struggling with time management, I was sort of just struggling at everything in my life. And Kristen Suzanne was a raw vegan chef that I'd already looked up to, and I found out that she went back to omnivore, and I was actually listening to her on a podcast with David Asprey, being interviewed by him, and she was talking about her decision to switch back to omnivore, and I was listening to it, and it was just speaking to me so much. Like, it just totally was this aha moment. Like, all the things that maybe were going on in my head regarding how I was feeling as a vegetarian, she was saying it, and it was just like clicking. Like I cannot live this life anymore as a vegetarian. I have to make a change. And so she inspired me both at the beginning and at the end of my journey. And aside from her influence on me as far as food and diet and nutrition, and following her as just a health person to look up to, she really inspires me because of her courage to kind of come out of the closet as an omnivore again. Because let's face it, you're a vegan, you're in that lifestyle, you're surrounding yourself with people who have the same interest. She raised her daughter, who's close to the same age as my youngest, as a vegan, and obviously noticed the ways that that delayed her. So as a member of PETA and all of that, all the stuff she was into, obviously it took a lot of courage to come out and realize that all the things that she believed were maybe not necessarily working for her, and she needed to make a change to improve her and her family's life. And despite pissing a few people off, like, I think that that takes a lot of courage, and that is a really big deal. I think that sometimes in your life you end up in situations where you come to a realization that something you believed in may not necessarily be true, and there's people that might not agree with it and you might upset them. But despite upsetting others and despite your own ego and not kind of giving in to yourself, because I know when I made the decision to start eating meat, I kind of felt like I didn't want to give up on it because I didn't want to give up, just not because I didn't think it was a great idea, but I just didn't want to fail. So I had to kind of let my ego go. So I think for her that probably was a big part of it too. So I think when you're in that sort of situation, you have to follow your heart. You can't worry about what other people are thinking or about being a letdown. You just have to do what you believe to be true in your heart. So Kristen Suzanne is a huge inspiration to me, and I just love her. So check her out on Facebook. I don't think she is actually blogging or maybe even posting anything on Facebook at this time because she's exploring her new life as an omnivore, which is really awesome. But if you have the chance, check her out. So